For my clients, the biggest thing at the moment is capacity. Their people's ability to deliver consistently, produce quality work, and make good decisions while the pressure around them continues to increase. It's one of the reasons Level Up, my new program, is resonating with my clients. Look at what organizations are asking their leaders to navigate right now. We've got AI adoption, economic uncertainty, psychosocial risk, change fatigue, talent retention, transformation, and then the usual operational challenges haven't disappeared while all of this is arriving either. And when two or more arrive at the same time, they tend to interact and actually amplify each other, creating what we call polycrisis, or what weather experts would call a perfect storm. But ultimately, we have capable people facing increasingly difficult conditions. And that raises an interesting question. What does a highly capable leader need in order to access that capability when the pressure is really on? And I reckon we've historically put a lot of effort into competence, strategy, finance, technical skills, management training, qualifications, that kind of thing. They're all very valuable, of course they are. Yet most senior leaders I work with already know how to do their jobs. That's not where the critical point is. The challenge is whether their best performance remains available when the meeting becomes difficult, or somebody resigns, or the numbers move in the wrong direction, or a restructure lands badly, or a team suddenly becomes anxious and reactive and frustrated and distressed. There is some fascinating neuroscience around all of this. Under acute stress, the prefrontal cortex, which supports kind of complex judgment and strategic thinking, executive, creative problem solving, becomes less available as our threat systems become more active. The threat system overrides the executive thinking one. That's the fight or flight response. It's what's kept us alive as a species, right? So our thinking can narrow at exactly the moment we need it to broaden, which is why emotional intelligence is the first of the 5 edges that we develop in Level Up in your leaders. We learn to recognize our emotional state and regulate ourselves and remain able to think clearly when everyone around us may become increasingly reactive. And then, of course, that also then allows us to be able to spot that in our teams and in our people as well, which is also another really valuable asset. Then we build the other 4 edges on top of the emotional intelligence one. We talk about burnout intelligence, which is kind of understanding and protecting capacity before performance declines. Relational intelligence is keeping people connected and trusting under pressure without the leader absorbing and taking home the overwhelm that isn't theirs to take. We have adaptive capabilities. That's responding and pivoting when circumstances suddenly change direction. And then we talk about true alpha presence, becoming the steady influence that people naturally turn towards when uncertainty rises or when unpredictability occurs. And together these 5 edges create something I think organizations are valuing enormously and going to continue to do so over the next few years. It's being ready. We may have very little control over which headwind arrives next. We can have far more influence over the condition and capability and capacity of the people we expect to lead us through it. So over the next few videos and newsletters, I'm going to unpack each of these 5 edges and some of the research sitting behind them. Because if capacity is becoming a conversation in your organization, I'd love to compare notes with you. Thanks.